You tuned into the Now Morning Show, and as we told you before, AI jumping up in Carnival, but not necessarily in a costume. It is very much presented through Dr. Curtis Charles, the founder and CEO of FutureLogic AI Consulting Group, who joins us this morning to tell us more about a campus that is allowing us to not just see the greatness of him, but of us as well. Good morning and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
An absolute delight, because as I was telling you before, if we were to go through your bio, we would be here for most of the morning, you being very accomplished academically, but you've chosen to direct that not just in terms of AI directly for your business, but for the UWI Five Island campus. And that I definitely want to know, how are we using that to jump up in Carnival?
Yes.
How do we do that, Doctor?
So 5 years ago, I got the opportunity to I was hired to start UWI Five Islands campus, which is the 5th campus for UWI. And I had just come from Microsoft. Right. And in Microsoft, I was a data scientist and doing some other work as well. And it is always important to understand when you were born. So UWI Five Island campus was born in 2019 in the midst of the 4th Industrial Revolution. And the 4th Industrial Revolution is characterized by artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, robotics. And when I arrived on campus, there was no sense of that. So what we wanted to do is purposely decide that we're going to make this campus an artificial intelligence campus. So right now, Trinidad is known as engineering, Barbados is known as law, medical for Mona. Five Island campus is known as the artificial intelligence campus. And one of the first things we did was, in order to do that, you had to build a foundation. So we designed the first and only School of Science, Computing and Artificial Intelligence. And what that did for us is that it became a catalyst for us to do other things. So we were very innovative. We created what is called Generative Pharmacy, one of the only generative pharmacy, which is using AI to create new drugs. And if you think about that, then we could create a new industry of pharmaceuticals. But the interesting thing about that is, back in the day, you barely heard to your grandmother tell you go out and get some bush.
Exactly.
The interesting thing about that is that we haven't had the infrastructure to commercialize most of our local indigenous plants. This gives you an opportunity to do that by just understanding the enzymes. Then you could go in and develop the drugs. But the interesting thing about this program is that if you remember before COVID, everybody told you the reason why prescription drugs were expensive is because it took a long time and it was a lot of money.
Right.
However, within COVID, we had a drug in 2 years. The only way you could have done that is with artificial intelligence. Because we had all these folks doing research all over the world. Artificial intelligence is all about large amount of data, looking at patterns, and what you call algorithms in order to see what is common. So they were able to pull all that in a repository and then make a cocktail.
So we're going to do that next with the grandmother's remedies, but in better timing.
Yes.
Loving it.
Yes.
Tell me more of the innovation available, because with this campus being so heavily focused on AI, it's not just pharmaceuticals that we can see adaptations to.
No, we have 4 schools. We have the School of Science, Computing and Artificial Intelligence. The university has the School of Business and Management, the School of Health and Behavioral Sciences, and the School of Humanities and Education. And if you think about infusing artificial intelligence in academic programs, it is unconscionable for us to graduate any student in business without understanding business intelligence. So they come to the school and they understand how data affects business and making business decisions. In the School of Humanities and Education, you could now study sentiment analysis, and sentiment analysis is understanding students' behavior, so you could do precision education. And if you're in health and behavioral sciences, everything about COVID was basically data. That form you filled out, coming back to Trinidad, that form you filled out, if we had taken all that form and all that information, put it in a repository, then we could know where the virus was going. But if you kept that repository and you basically mine that repository, then the next thing that could happen is that you could now understand the behaviors and where diseases are moving in the country. So for example, what we saw yesterday and what we're going to see today is all those long lines. You could use artificial intelligence to pre-calculate what are the causes or what are the ailments of each one of those people, put them in different lines, basically
streamline the process and make it more efficient. Well, what you're describing is absolutely necessary, and we got a lot of learnings out of COVID, so I'm sure it's going to be easy to convince persons to focus their energies there. But there is a maximum capacity and there are numbers. So how many students are we looking at being able to
So
manage
actually,
on campus?
was interesting because we started in 2019 with 174 students. In 5 years, we have almost 1,200 students.
Okay.
That's almost 500%. So, and one of the things about that is the innovative programs that were created. So, for example, in addition to the generative pharmacy, 60% of our people in the Caribbean die of non-communicable diseases. Yet there was no degree program in the Caribbean dealing with non-communicable diseases specifically. So one of the things we designed is a Masters of Science in Non-Communicable Disease Management, which is AI and data analytics is blended into that. And it's a program that's blended. So that means most of it is online. So if you're in Trinidad and you want to into that program, the other thing we did is that we developed an interdisciplinary degree collaborating with colleagues of mine from MIT.
Of course.
We designed an interdisciplinary degree in data science, innovation management, and computer science. And the point is, you'll say, well, what does a student do with that? So let's suppose Trinidad wants to know how much money to put aside next year for a level 5 hurricane. The brain of the students in data will take data from the last 10 years.
Right.
Then you'll run algorithm on it. And after you run algorithm, you'll see the patterns and trends. You projectize that, and then you then have the economic impact. And I use the word algorithm, and I try not to use words just wildly, but algorithms are not about directions. So we give, and Caribbean people could give directions, right? So you want to go down the road, you say, okay, go by the breadfruit tree, make a left, then make a right.
You see a shrub.
Right, and then you have the pattern. So those are what algorithms are. But it's an incredible experiment because not only are we transforming students, we're transforming the government, which is really important. Antigua and Barbuda is the only government that in the first 5 years have supported any one of UWI universities alone. So it's a huge sacrifice to them. So our philosophy has been, if we build in this capacity in students, then we have to build the capacity at the government as well. So one of the things we have been looking at is how do we modernize and how do we reform the government in Antigua and Barbuda by making it one of these intelligent governments that, for example, the Prime Minister could go into a portal and see what's happening in works and what's happening in education. And then if you have those within a combined environment, then the connection between all of them then gives you other opportunities.
Dr. Charles, what you're describing is revolutionary in any capacity, but it's going to be incredulous here in Trinbago, and I cannot wait to see the impact. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to go through all of that. So if you wanted to find out more information about that and connect with you, because this is something you started, you moved on to other stuff, how do we connect with you?
I'm on WhatsApp at 910-431-9718. That's 910-431-9718, or email is charles@mit.edu.
I appreciate you tremendously, not for just putting in all that work to get that information, but for bringing it back home.
Thank you.
We truly appreciate you, sir. Dr. Curtis Charles, the founder and CEO of FutureLogic AI Consulting Group, and pioneering the AI and how it will jump up in Trinidad and Tobago, not just in Carnival. We're jumping on more after these messages, though, guys, so you need to stick around, and our morning show continues after this.